Hello all, my name's Temi of Living Letter Plans, and today I'm going to be showing you how to create one of my graph mood tracker spreads. Now, the reason why I do a graph mood tracker spread will be revealed as the video goes along, but there is a blog linked below that is all about 5 ways to make your mood tracker do more for you. So let's get into how I create my mood tracker spreads. I tend to keep my mood and habit tracker side by side. Please ignore the mistake I've made with the spread naming my mood tracker and my habit tracker and vice versa. But I just want to show you how I create my tracker spreads and how I divide them. Sometimes the page into 2 or sometimes the graph into 3 to fit in all days. Also gives me space to create some pretty designs close by as well. Now, the reason why I do a graph spread is because I can add notes to my mood tracker. So on days when I've been particularly happy or particularly low, I write down maybe what I did that day, what may have happened that day, or what I may have been thinking about that's made me feel that way. It's just a good way of keeping track, and also with the notes that I make of why I'm feeling happy, I make things called pick-me-up spreads, which are pages I can turn to find ideas for things to do for my mental health if I'm feeling particularly low. I've also done a blog about that, which will be linked below. So my pens I'm going to be using are the Calligraph, and this is the Flourish collection, and this is why, because look at how beautiful the colours are. And then alongside that I'm going to be using the Piper's Acrylograph pen set, because the colours just go perfectly together. Gone for the 0.7 because they're great for doing little details, which I like to do in my floral designs. Calligraph pens are a new product I've started using, and I love how easy it is to match between the two types of pens. So to divide the page, I have created some printables, which is going to be the easiest way for you to do it, to print them out true to size. I've done them in A5 so you can stick them in your bullet journal and create design that you want. Or you can use a grid spacing guide, which I have created in the front of my bullet journal. There are some great blogs on this on the Art and Olive site as well. And here I can see how many squares I have that need to divide up my page into. I like to do a 2 square border around my designs, and then I divide the page into 3 for each graph. So for this one I'm going to do a column design on the left hand side, and with that I just need to leave enough space, maybe a square gap, just to put the smiley faces, which is what I use for my mood indicators in my graphs, just because they're just easier to do. They go from very low to moderate to happy to very happy. So then I'm going to add my title. I love mixing stamps with my calligraphy. I just like the mix. I think they look really good together. Then I'm going to start adding in my numbers for the days of the month. And if you split your graph into 3, obviously it's 10 days each, and you take off 2 for February or 1 for the leap year, and just add an extra day if you've got 31 days to the last graph at the bottom of the page. Then once I've done that, it's time for the part I enjoy the most, which is adding the design. And I'm just going to add some floral patterns with my Calligraph pens. Now, the floral patterns I do, the individual florals themselves that I draw are so easy. I think the thing that makes it look most effective is how you tessellate them or how you put them together. So I'm just quickly showing you how I do that to make the plants and florals and different types of shapes fit in together. One way I make my mood tracker do more for me is by doing creative spreads like this. I really enjoy getting mindful with my creativity, and being mindful just means being present and focused in the moment on what you're doing without too much overstimulation or thinking about other things. And the thing about being creative that makes this easy is that it takes your concentration and your thoughts. So it's very easy to be mindful whilst you're being creative. And this is one thing I always try and do whenever I'm setting up my mood tracker, and also when I fill it in. Now, to elevate this design even more, I'm doing one of my favourite things to do, which is to layer my acrylographs over my Calligraph pens, which just gives some great shading to the design and adds some fun details that make the design just pop a bit more. You'll see as I go how the design stands out much more than it did before. Then once I've done that, I use the broad side of my Calligraph pen to add the smiley faces, and I just use a fine liner for the shapes. And then your mood tracker is done. Another thing that I make sure I do with my mood tracker is add it as part of my evening routine. So when I'm winding down, I will go make a cup of tea, grab my journal, sit back and think through my day, and just mindfully, with no rush, just sit through and fill in my mood tracker. It's very quick to do, and I add my notes as I mentioned. Please do share your mood tracker spreads once you've created them. I love seeing them. Be sure to tag Archer and Olive on Instagram and use the hashtag AOShare. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.